Tapakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Tapakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Namah Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorama Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's Gospel class, I have chosen the subject Sri Ramakrishna's mysterious ways of teachings. Sri Ramakrishna could find out what exactly the spiritual aspirant needs. Accordingly, he would give instruction. Sri Ramakrishna's life itself is a spiritual instruction for all the spiritual aspirants. So all his teachings are the outcome of his spiritual practices. In his early days at Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna practiced sadhana in a very unusual, intense way. He would go at night and sit under the Amalaki tree in a jungle, and he would meditate in solitude for hours. His doings puzzled his nephew, who was attending on Sri Ramakrishna. His name was Hriday. So he would not know why Sri Ramakrishna was going and spending long hours in the jungle at night. So, in order to distract him from his doing that way, Hriday would throw stones and gravel at the place to frighten away the master. But Sri Ramakrishna was not the one to be disturbed by such tricks. He told Hriday that the Amalaki tree was very auspicious for the fulfillment of vow. Hriday's sense of duty to his uncle made him resolve to wean Sri Ramakrishna from going to jungle. He thought it would be very unsafe. As stone throwing had proved a failure, one night he emboldened himself to go to the jungle to find out what his mysterious uncle was doing. And Hriday was shocked by what he saw. Sri Ramakrishna had discarded his wearing cloth. He was naked, and he has taken out his sacred thread and he was meditating in a blissful way. Hriday wondered if his uncle had gone mad. Who but an insane person would remain naked and without the holy thread? Because he was coming from orthodox family. So he shouted to Sri Ramakrishna for an explanation why he was doing that way. Sri Ramakrishna gave Hriday a very cogent reason for his mysterious conduct. He said, "What do you know, Hriday? Freed from all ties in this way, should one do meditation. Man is under 8 bondages. They are hatred and fear, shame and aversion, egoism and vanity, and also noble descent and good conduct. All these are fetters. The sacred thread also is a bondage, for it is a symbol of the egoism that one is a Brahman and he is superior to all. During meditation, one should be free from all these bondages and call on the Divine Mother with a concentrated mind. Hence, I removed all my clothes and sacred thread, everything. After meditation, I shall put them on again." This view of things was too much for Hriday, but it was incontrovertible. He had hoped to chastise his uncle for his unscriptural performance, but now he stood mute. He could not do anything. He felt totally helpless in this matter. Sri Ramakrishna's stripping off his garment and his Brahmin insignia was extremely unconventional and severely unorthodox from the point of view of social norms which Hriday represented. But what a lofty and unobjectionable ideal lay behind Sri Ramakrishna's seemingly indefensible doing when we look at it from saner standards. And yet, how easily does ordinary human understanding dare to sit in judgment over the extraordinary doings of great persons? But Hriday was not the solitary man blind to the significance of Sri Ramakrishna's sublime deeds. There was another guy. His name was Haldari. He studied Vedanta. He was talking a lot about Vedanta, but he did not live it. He was only talking, not doing anything in life, in practice. To actualize the dictum that Shiva dwells in all jivas, Sri Ramakrishna actually ate and placed on his head as a very prasad of God a little of the leavings from the leaf plates of the poor people who were fed at the temple of Kali. Haladari, when he saw this, he became filled with moralist zeal. He shouted at the master, "How will you be able to marry your children if you act this way?" Sri Ramakrishna retorted, "You rascal, shall I ever have children?" Sri Ramakrishna said, "The scriptures have rightly warned that the spirit cannot be grasped by mere erudition or brains." There was one Pandit, Shivanath Shastri, who was unable to understand Sri Ramakrishna in respect of his mysterious spiritual realizations. Shivanath Shastri's philosophy was a half-baked creed seeking to reconcile the world and God, a game in which none has ever succeeded. The state of samadhi, which was a spontaneous and perfectly natural mode of experience to the master, was a puzzle to Shivanath. He never understood it, but saw in it the outcome of a strange nervous disorder resulting in a loss of consciousness for a time. So Shivanath Shastri concluded that Sri Ramakrishna's Samadhi is nothing but a fit, some nervous disorder. He went to the extent of desiring to save the religious organization, Brahma Samaj, to which he owed allegiance, from the unwholesome influence of intimacy with Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna did not shrink from pricking the bubble of Shivanath's viewpoint. He told him, well, Shivanath, it's very significant, this remark of Sri Ramakrishna. He said to Shivanath, I hear that you call my samadhi a disease and say that I become unconscious at that time. You think day and night of all sorts of material things and yet consider yourself to be a sound brain, while I, who meditate on the eternal fountainhead of consciousness, appear to you as deranged. A fine piece of reasoning. When Sri Ramakrishna lay seriously ill at Kasipur, Pandit Shashadhar made a suggestion to him. Sir, the scriptures say that saints like you can cure their physical illness by means of willpower alone. If you only concentrate your mind on the affected part with the resolve that it be cured, you will be cured. Why don't you try it? The suggestion was, of course, well intentioned, but the master rejected it. He told the Pandit, you are a scholar and still you make this thoughtless proposal? The mind has been given up to God once for all. How can I withdraw it from him to turn it on this worthless body? See how he is teaching. That's why I told you, his life itself is a great teaching. Not only his words, his actions, everything about Sri Ramakrishna is marvelous teaching for us. As against these instances of human judgments and approaches being out of tune with the idealism of Sri Ramakrishna's atmosphere, we shall present here a case in which utter unworthy, as the world conceives of worth and unworthy, was able to comprehend the master in reality and in fullness. This incident was told by a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. It's a very famous incident. There was a sweeper. His name was Rasik. He lived at Dakshineshwar. He would always show tremendous, sincere respect and reverence to Sri Ramakrishna. He would call the master father. He would always call him as father. One day, Sri Ramakrishna was returning from the direction of the Panchavati, absorbed in a spiritual mood. At that time, Rasik, the sweeper, knelt down before him and prayed with folded hands, Father, why don't you bless me? What will be in store for me? The master looked at him, assured him, you need have no fear. You will have your wish fulfilled. You will see me at the time of death. Not after death, at the time of death. Every word is very significant. And that was all what happened, and at the time of death, it exactly happened that way. A little while before his death, Rasik was carried near the Tulsi plant. And as the moment of death approached, he was about to draw his last breath. Suddenly he cried out, here you are. You have come to me, Father. You have really come, Father. You have really come. Then he breathed his last. A lowly sweeper by the world's standard, But what a blessed recipient of utmost divine grace. It's very true that within is more significant than the without, that the mental attitude matters more than the physical performance. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. There is a story of Sri Ramakrishna which bears on this point. Sri Ramakrishna says, bondage is of the mind, and freedom also is of the mind. Because Sri Ramakrishna, all his teachings you can find in Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, Adhyatmanamaya. All his words have references. Then Sri Ramakrishna told a story. There were two friends, because the story is in the Gospel. There were two friends. One went to a house of prostitution and the other to hear a recital of Bhagavad. The first one who went to prostitution, house of prostitution, he began to think, what shame. My friend is hearing spiritual discourse, but see what I have slipped down to. He was highly repentant for having come to the house of prostitution. Now look at this guy who was hearing the Bhagavatam. He also began to think, but he thought in a different way. He thought to himself, shame on me. My friend is having a good time. He is enjoying. But how stupid I am. See, though he isn't hearing the Bhagavatam, his mind is thinking in a bad way. That man who was in the house of prostitution, though he was in a bad company, his mind was seeking after the divine. After death, the soul of the first one who went to the house of prostitution was taken to Vishnu Lok by the messengers of Vishnu, while that of the second one who was hearing the recital of Bhagavatam, he was taken to the Yamaloka. While the truth about the potency of the mind has to be remembered well in all our actions, it must not be forgotten that the physical, the exterior, the outward matters very much with most of us, and that it is better for us not to have any exaggerated notions of our having transcended the body, gone above the realm of the corporeal, reached beyond the bounds of the mundane, soared high above the earth, and blossomed into more mind and less body. We are most of us fundamentally of the earth or thee. Our feet are firmly rooted in earth, and we cannot soar off into the sky so easily as we imagine we can. It is better to acknowledge facts and remember that we are dwelling on earth. We are earth dwellers rather than sky floaters. Sri Ramakrishna himself was exceptionally superhuman, but out of his limitless compassion for man, Sri Ramakrishna chose to live in the proximity of people so that he could be easily contacted by them. For his all-time God absorption, he could easily have lived in a mountain cave or a forest grove, but he did not do so. He wanted people to come. He wanted to be accessible to everyone who wants spirituality. He also taught useful lessons not for the advanced souls alone, but for all and sundry. He was a man of the people in every sense of the term, and his field of operation was the region of universal relevance and value, religion and spiritual striving. Sri Ramakrishna wanted leaders of men to teach people both by precept and by personal example. He has said, but the renunciation of the world is needful for those whom God wants to be teachers of men. One who is an acharya should renounce, otherwise people will not take his advice. It is not enough for him to renounce only mentally, he should also renounce outwardly. Only then will his teaching bear fruit. Otherwise people will think, though he asks us to give up lust and gold, he enjoys them himself in secret. Not only was Sri Ramakrishna's mind devoid of any desire for money, his physical frame itself was allergic to the touch of gold. Of the degree of aparigraha, non-receiving, he practiced in his sadhana time. He once narrated an incident. Once Mahendra Kaviraj of Sinti, he gave 5 rupees to Ramlal. Sri Ramakrishna did not know about it. When Ramlal told him about the money, Sri Ramakrishna asked him for whom the money was given. Ramlal said the money was meant for Sri Ramakrishna. At first, Sri Ramakrishna thought that he should use it to pay what he owed for his milk. But immediately it stirred his whole constitution. Sri Ramakrishna says, I had only slept a little while when I suddenly woke up writhing with pain, as if a cat was scratching my chest. I went to Ramlal and asked him again if the money was for his aunt. He said, no, it is for you. Immediately, Sri Ramakrishna said to him, go at once and return the money. Ramlal gave it back the next day. Holy men may themselves need not any religious practice intended for the common man, but by way of setting a noble example to mankind, they too should observe spiritual injunctions. The Master used to say, how can people have reverence and faith in God if the holy men do not sing His name and glories? Sri Ramakrishna's state of high attainment could easily have made him remain ever absorbed in deep samadhi, blissfully, unaware of the world and its needs. But he danced and sang, visited temple shrines, and enjoyed holy company like any earnest beginner in the spiritual path. Sri Ramakrishna's deep concern for human welfare was almost as great as his love for God. Some of his pronouncements are very revealing of his passion for man and man's redemption. He said, Sri Ramakrishna said, I will give up 20,000 bodies to help one man. Sri Ramakrishna says, it is glorious to help even one man. Oh mother, stop me from enjoying ecstasies. Let me stay in my normal state so that I can be of more use in the world. How I suffer because no one needs my help today. If nobody comes, Sri Ramakrishna would feel a kind of suffering, because he was so much after giving spiritual knowledge to everyone, whoever comes. The young man had heard of Sri Ramakrishna, but had not yet met him. One day, he went to the garden of the Dakshineshwar temple and he liked to have a flower. He saw a man going by and, mistaking him for a garden worker, asked him to pluck the flower for him. The man readily carried out his request. On another occasion, the same young man saw this garden worker seated in a room in the temple, giving a discourse to many people who were listening attentively. The young man found out that this should be the renowned Paramahams of whom he had read in Keshav Chandra Sen's writings. What indeed must the young man's feelings have been at the thought of his having mistaken him for a gardener and having given an errand to him, and also at the thought of the saints having obliged him without a word of protest, the slightest sign of displeasure. Later, the young man became one of the most beloved direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Greatness, especially which of the godly sort, is humble and simple, meek and egoless. Sri Ramakrishna would point out very clearly how to get awakening. In one of his teachings, Sri Ramakrishna says, worldly people wander about to the four quarters of the earth. Why? For the sake of happiness. But they don't find it anywhere. They only become tired and weary. When through their attachment to lust and gold, they only suffer misery, they feel an urge toward dispassion and renunciation. Most people cannot renounce lust and gold without first enjoying it. There are two sorts of people: those who stay in one place and those who go about to many places. There are some sadhakas who visit many sacred places. They can't settle down in one spot. They must drink the water of many holy places. Thus, roaming about, they satisfy their unfulfilled desires, and at last they build a hut in one place and settle down there. Then, free from worry and effort, they meditate on God. But what is there to enjoy in the world? Lust and gold? That's only a momentary pleasure. One moment it exists, and the next moment it disappears. The world is like an overcast sky that steadily pours down rain. The face of the sun is seldom seen. There is mostly suffering in the world on account of the cloud of lust and gold. One cannot see the sun. Some people ask me, "Sir, why has God created such a world? Is there no way out for us?" I say to them, why shouldn't there be a way out? Take shelter with God and pray to Him with a yearning heart for a favorable wind, that you may have things in your favor. If you call on Him with yearning, He will surely listen to you. And then Sri Ramakrishna tells a story. A man had a son who was on the point of death. In a frenzy, he asked remedies of different people. One of them said, "Here is a remedy. First it must rain when the star Swati is in the ascendant. Then some of the rain must fall into a skull. Then a frog must come there to drink the water, and a snake must chase it. And when the snake is about to bite the frog must hop away, and the poison must fall into the skull. You should give the patient a little of the poison and rainwater from the skull. This is the prescription." The father set out eagerly to find the medicine when the star Swati was in the sky. It started raining. Fervently he said to God, "O Lord, please get a skull for me." Searching here and there, he at last found a skull with rainwater in it. Again he prayed to God, saying, "O Lord, I beseech thee, please help me find the frog and the snake." Since he had great longing, he got the frog and the snake also. In the twinkling of an eye, he saw a snake chasing a frog, and as it was about to bite the frog, its poison fell into the skull. If one takes shelter with God and prays to Him with great longing, God will surely listen. He will constantly make everything favorable. Sri Ramakrishna said further, yes, God makes everything favorable. Perhaps the aspirant doesn't marry. These are Sri Ramakrishna's words. That's how God makes everything favorable. Perhaps the aspirant doesn't marry. Thus he is able to devote his whole attention to God. Or perhaps his brothers earn the family's livelihood. Or perhaps a son takes on the responsibilities of the family. Then the aspirant will not have to bother about the world. He can give 100% of his mind to God. But one cannot succeed unless one renounces lust and gold. Only by renunciation is ignorance destroyed. The sun's rays falling on a lens burn many objects, but if a room is dark inside, you cannot get that result. You must come out of the room to use the lens. But some people live in the world even after attaining jnana. They see both what is inside and what is outside the room. The light of God illumines the world. Therefore, with that light, they can discriminate between good and bad, permanent and impermanent. The ignorant, who lead a worldly life without knowing God, are like people living in a house with mud walls. With the help of a dim light, they can see the inside of the house, but nothing more. But those who live in the world after having attained knowledge and realized God are like people living in glass house. They see inside of the room and also all that is outside. The light from the sun of knowledge enters strongly into the room. They perceive everything inside of the room very clearly. They know what is good and what is bad, what is permanent and what is impermanent. So, Sri Ramakrishna has given so many instructions for the aspirants in so many ways, through his life, through his teachings. Everything about Sri Ramakrishna is mysterious, and every bit of Sri Ramakrishna is meant for the welfare of the whole humanity. Page 836. Dr. Madhu was treating Sri Ramakrishna. He frequently visited the master at Dakshineshwar, coming by country boat from Calcutta. The devotees were very much worried about the master. It was their secret desire that the physician should see him daily. Yam said to the master, Dr. Madhu is an experienced physician. It would be nice if he sees you every day. Pandit Shampada of Antpur arrived. It was dusk. The Pandit went to the bank of the Ganges to perform his evening worship. He had some amazing visions during the worship. He returned to the master's room and sat on the floor. Sri Ramakrishna had just finished meditation and the chanting of the holy names. He was sitting on the small couch, and M on the foot rug. Rakal, Latu and others were in and out of the room. Master said to M, pointing to the Pandit, "He is very nice." To the Pandit, he said, "Where the mind attains peace by practicing the discipline of Neti Neti, there Brahman is." The king dwells in the inmost room of the palace, which has 7 gates. The visitor comes to the first gate. There he sees a lordly person with a lord's retinue, surrounded on all sides by pomp and grandeur. The visitor asks his companion, "Is he the king?" "No," says his friend with a smile. At the second and the other gates he repeats the same question to his friend. He finds that the nearer he comes to the inmost part of the palace, the greater is the glory, pomp and grandeur. When he passes the 7th gate, he does not ask his companion whether it is the king. He stands speechless at the king's immeasurable glory. He realizes that he is face to face with the king. He has not the slightest doubt about it. Pandit said, "One sees God beyond the realm of Maya." Master said, "But after realizing God, one finds that he alone has become Maya, the universe, and all living beings. This world is no doubt a framework of illusion, unreal as a dream. One feels that way when one discriminates following the process of neti neti, not this, not this. But after the vision of God, this very world becomes a mansion of mirth. What will you gain by the mere study of scriptures? The Pandits merely indulge in reasoning." Pandit said, "I hate the idea of being called a Pandit." Master said, "That is due to the grace of God. The Pandits merely indulge in reasoning. Some have heard of milk, and some have drunk milk. After you have the vision of God, you will find that everything is Narayan. It is Narayan himself who has become everything. The Pandit recited a hymn to Narayan. Sri Ramakrishna was overwhelmed with joy. Pandit said, quoting from the Gita, with the heart concentrated by yoga, with the eye of evenness for all things, he beholds the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Master said, have you read the Adhyatma Ramayana? Pandit, yes, sir, a little. Master said, the book is filled with ideas of knowledge and devotion. The life of Savitri and the hymn by Alya are filled with bhakti. But you must remember one thing. God is very far away from the mind tainted with worldliness. Shall stop here. Any question to ask? Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. Own name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bath for very selves. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust are the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the free make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteous rule with the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe being satisfied.